Hey guys, this is Hope from the Rhinestone World, and I'm going to show you a really quick way to customize some mugs using our FDC decal vinyl. This is a really good technique because you don't need to have a mug press or any specialized equipment. All you need is your vinyl cutter, some FDC decal vinyl, and your transfer tape, and you're ready to go. The first thing I'm going to do is cut it out using the Wizard. We're using Great Cuts and the Graph Tech today, but you can really do this with any vinyl cutter. So I have my templates made in the Wizard, and I'm just going to get right to loading it and cutting it out. As you can see, we really just need a small piece of vinyl. The mugs are not that large. I'm going to come into my Corel Draw, and as you can see, I have my templates created from the Wizard already that went ahead and color separated everything for me. So I'm going to go ahead and send this to cut. And with decal vinyl, one thing that you can remember is that you do not need to mirror it. With HTV, you will, so if you're doing heat press on a mug or anything like that, you will want to mirror it. But with the decal vinyl, it's you're weeding it from the front, and you're cutting it from the front, so you don't need to mirror that. And while that's cutting, I'm going to go ahead and show you back to my original design. This is a two-color design, which usually with a decal vinyl you will use registration marks. With this one I chose not to, simply because there's only a few parts of the design that are different colors, so it's going to be really easy to layer this one. Now if you did have a more intricate design, you could always use the Wizard. Just shift click on your magic template button and that'll give you the registration marks for your design. So I went ahead and I cut out the small parts of our design that we're actually going to weed, and we can pull this away and just see where our weed boxes are there. And with decal vinyl, you want to be really careful when you're weeding because if one part of your design that you're weeding out sticks to another part, it could actually end up ruining your design. So you want to be really careful that as you're pulling away, you're keeping a hold on the part that you've already peeled. You don't want to lose any details in there. I just kind of use my fingers and make sure it stays sticking to them. That way you know it's not sticking to any part of your design that you actually need. I have my weed tool here. Just going to pick out this part of his face. And I do have some really small details in the eyes. One thing that helps me when I weed it out, I'll pull away and then I'll just hold that small detail down with my pick tool. That way you know that's going to stay right there in place. You can do the same thing with her bow. Just pick out some of these details. Now one thing, if you are weeding a lot of small designs often, some people will get those things that go on your hand. It looks like a big diamond ring, but it's actually used for holding nail polish. That's one helpful thing. That way you can weed it away, weed your vinyl away, and then you can just stick it right in that holder. Hold that down. Alright, so that's part of it. Now as you guys can see, this is actually two different designs for two different mugs, so they're going to complement each other. Alright, and now I'll weed my red. And again, I'm just going to pull away and hold that down. Now I know some people will stray away from doing really small details with any sort of HTV or anything. I've actually found that with the vinyl that we have, if you get good cut settings, you can really do some pretty intricate designs. It's just whether or not you're wanting to spend the time to weed them or not. Get that, and then we should have, her lips are up here, they're super small, so we're going to be really careful when we weed that. Again, just hold them down just like that. There we go. Alright, so now we're going to put these on our transfer tape, and we're going to get ready to apply them to the mugs. Alright, so here's our transfer tape. It does come in a big roll like this. What I like to do when I'm working with a nice small design is just peel up enough to where I know I have it, and then get this big roll out of the way. Alright, so I'm going to start with our bigger design here. Lay it down, and I just kind of let it fall. That way you know you're not going to get any wrinkles or anything. and then you can smooth it out. I want to make sure we get all of these on here, and then we're going to add our little red details. Alright, so we do have some pretty small details here. And I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of get over it and make sure that we're lining it up, starting mainly with her lips, because if they're out of place, that'll look a little bit off. I'm going to bring it in. There we go. Just like that. And lay that down on there. That way we can make sure we pick all of these up. Now, just make sure that all peels off. And we're all set. So here's our design. We're actually going to put it on 2 different mugs so they kind of complement each other. Alright? Alright, so now that these are together, and we did it on one piece of transfer tape, just so we know that they line up, and that way we don't have to line up 4 different designs, we just have to line up 2. I'm just going to cut this in half. Alright. So these are cut in half. We're going to come over to the mug, just lay it on its side, and we want to make sure when we're all done with these that they line up just like this. So it does look like the stick figures are looking at each other. Alright, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to make it so she is just a little bit up from the top and just flatten that out. Now while it is easier to use decal vinyl, again, because you don't need to use a heat press with the decal vinyl, you will want to wait about 3 days before you wash it, and you will want to make your customers aware that these are not dishwasher safe. So they will have to hand wash them, but they do stay on really well. I have a lot of these at home, and I'm not extremely careful while I wash them, and everything seems to stay on nice and tight on there. Alright, that looks pretty good. We'll peel that up. And mug number 1 is all set. There we go, we have our little dancer there. And now we got to put her partner on the second mug. So what I'm going to do is actually line these up just like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line these 2 mugs up right next to each other. We want to make sure they're the same height. If we put him up there too high, it'll look like they don't quite match. So I know that I have, what is that, about 3/4 of an inch there on the bottom. Alright, so I'm going to just line this up just like this when I do put the second character on there. So there, that way I know that once they're on there, they'll be kind of dancing with each other. Get a little bit in the spirit of Valentine's Day, even though it's still January. Alright, so now I know they're lined up. I can just take this. And you really want to use the heat from your fingers to smooth that on there and make sure it's nice and warm. That will activate the glue and make sure you get a really good stick. That way, when your customers do wash them, you'll know that your vinyl isn't peeling off and that they have a quality product. Alright, that one looks all set. So, I'll just peel this off. Alright, and we're all done. When we line these 2 up, they should be one happy little couple. Alright, so that's all. I mean, it was a super easy project. That's something you could do in about 10 minutes.